M. Bombay cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best of the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the M. Bombay Casera, M. Bombay Mora, and the recently released M. Bombay Habano. M. Bombay Cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. Duran Premium Cigars is one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Paleo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offers the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Naya, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method, to ensure the progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. The founder of Defiant Whiskey, Tim Ferriss, built the distillery, the company, and the brand organically in the mountains of western North Carolina, in between deep-sea commercial diving jobs. Tim will now explain a little bit about the spirit behind Defiant Whiskey.
These guys are masters. They're artisans. I wanted to learn how to do that. I wanted to learn how to make a spirit that people tasted and was like, oh my God, that's incredible. You taste that quality, you taste that drive, you taste that passion. The minute they take a sip, the conversation's over and they're just going, that's incredible.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. This is the Stogies of the Week, where we talk about what we've been smoking. And we've got a fantastic lineup for you. As usual, this first cigar I'm going to talk about, Will, has a little story behind it. I was making, I was at the beach, and when I go in the water at this particular beach, especially around this time of summer, in kind of late summer, if you twist your feet, like I know in relation to where the lifeguard chairs are and like how deep in the water I should be in relation to the tide, about how high the water should be, if I twist my feet in the sand, I can find some call hogs. Wow. And I fill my bathing suit up with call hogs.
And then the girls go,
yeah, exactly. I'd save the biggest one for right in the front when I get out of the water, and all the women on the beach are impressed. And then I take them home, and I make linguine and clams.
Oh, fresh like that. Isn't that awesome? Oh.
So, but I also...
I'm hungry. Jesus Christ,
I think I got some left over.
We're going to that place.
We'll go now.
My grandfather used to do this, so it's kind of like paying homage to my grandfather who passed away in 2007.
Did you use his recipe?
I do. I use his recipe. But I make my own clam broth, so I take the clams home. And it's a process, dude. And I do it outside, so I need a cigar.
I saw that.
Yeah, exactly. So I scrub the clams. You put the clams in a little bit of water, with the onions and garlic, and you boil them. And then you make the clam broth, and then the clam broth goes in the alioli sauce, and then you make the. It's a process.
Only New England knows what the alioli is.
And it comes out so good, though. It's just so full of flavor.
And you brought some today.
Yeah.
Tonight.
It's here.
I would love to make it again. As much work as it was, it's so much fun.
Before you go any farther, I got a Stogie Santa story.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. So I went to the beach with my wife, and I was on the beach, and I had a couple of beverages, and so I didn't know you couldn't smoke on the beach. I guess I'm kind of ignorant.
Oh, yeah. We go to a private beach club because I'm like, no, I need to have
I'm
a
in
cigar.
the water, and I got the cigar, and here's this lifeguard blowing his brains out, right?
Did they have the bullhorn?
No,
You, sir, with the cigar. Yeah.
he's whistling, so I'm looking behind me. I thought maybe it was a fucking shark or something, right? I'm looking all around, and I'm puffing my brains out.
Bluefish,
And
get out of the
everyone's looking
water.
right. And it comes, he's going crazy. The hands are up, and everyone's going crazy. So I'm just saying, I'm still puffing away, and I'm like this here. So he comes down, he runs down from the chair, and he says, hey, what are you doing?
Standing in the water
Smoking
having a cigar? Yeah.
He says, put it out. I said, go back to your chair. Get the fuck out of here. Leave me alone. You know how old I am? You're telling me to put out a cigar? Screw. It ain't happening. Not till this thing is done. I don't care if it's a state-owned beach. I don't care who has the goddamn.
one of the things-
Get the
We
Get outta
belong, we
here.
belong to a private beach
Oh.
club, which is expensive
Jesus
and it's kind of
Christ.
pretentious, right? I mean, it is pretentious. Let's not argue,
Yeah, kind of is not.
it's pretentious, right? It's Bonnet Shores. I don't
Yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah, but they've got a bar in the middle. They call it the Pit, and it's a big tent. And there's a bar in there. And since it's outside, you can smoke. So you can have drinks and sit at the bar and smoke, which
Where's
is
this?
like
I gotta
on Bonnet Shores. It's in Narragansett.
Oh, you'll love it.
And
It's beautiful.
it is actually really nice. And you can smoke on the beach, and like no one cares. Everyone's like, you know what? We're a private beach club, and that's what a lot of the members come there to do. They're like, I want to be able to bring alcohol on the beach. I want to be able to have a cigar on the beach. And I'm waiting for the rules to change, but it's been like that for a long time. So
You never know. The
you
way
never
they're
know. Like
smoking-
I'm waiting for the year where we get the email right that no more
the
smoking on
members
the
voted
beach.
against smoking.
Yep. But so
One.
I had when I was doing the clam thing, I had Debonair Toro in the natural wrapper. Inside of the band, the box date was 2012, August 2012. So it was actually 3 years to the date. And it was just awesome. It was a perfect cigar, perfect amount of smoke, awesome flavor. Phil does a great job with his cigars. I don't know. I go back and forth on it, but I think in most sizes, I prefer the Habano over the Maduro.
There's no doubt because there's more of a transition in that cigar, more balance.
Yeah.
There's more meat to it. There's no doubt. There's no
There's
doubt.
a lot going on in that
Yeah.
Habano.
Yeah.
There really is. Especially some of the ones that have that older.
Yeah.
They're really, really awesome. I mean, this is a box-worthy cigar without a doubt. In the summertime, I would smoke these one after another out on my deck on a nice day. So, props to Phil and Debonair. That was a great smoke. Back to you, Will.
I don't know if I could top that Stogie Santa story.
Yeah. That's a
couldn't believe-
classic.
Oh yeah,
Stogie
you should have seen him.
Like-
I thought it was gonna put it out. It ain't happening. It just ain't gonna happen. Call the police. Call what you want. This kid's not putting this thing out. It ain't happening. You know what he's like as old as my kid was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, get the fuck out of
In
here.
tight red shorts.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a little thing. No, okay.
He didn't have any
Oh,
cohogs.
Little raisin.
He didn't have any call hogs in his
No,
face.
yeah, no cohogs.
Little piss gland.
Santa whole movie.
Oh, my wife was so proud of me. I tell you. That's why she didn't go with me anywhere.
She's like, not taking you to the beach anymore.
Came to take me
You're
shopping.
going to have to come with me to Bonnet Shores. That way you can smoke. There'll be no
Oh, yeah.
issue.
It's epic.
Oh, isn't it? It is. Only me.
Epic.
Anyway, let's get to the story.
All right. I got. Is this the Getting Jiggy cigar?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just
Uncle-
making. So I didn't know I wrote the introduction of the show before I really knew what
That
you were
alone,
gonna,
we got to get right to it.
gonna have. Yeah.
And we
So,
can't wait to see this dance, Will.
You got to improvise right now, Will.
yeah.
So if you want to get jiggy with it and talk about your cigar, you go for it, dude.
That's it. Go for it, dude.
Well, I smoked an Uncle Lee by Room 101. So I was wondering if that was it. Have you guys seen this Uncle Lee at all? Like,
I've seen the packaging. It's.
I don't get
I
it.
remember
I'm gonna be
Matt.
honest,
I remember Matt talking
And that's
about.
even toned down for what it wanted to be.
No,
Well-
dude, it comes from Matt. It comes from Matt, and it's so like when I look at the packaging, I'm like, yeah, all right, that's Matt.
That makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Not
Will did
making
an
sense
interview.
makes sense. Will.
Will
I
did an
couldn't pull
interview.
that off.
Will did an interview
Yeah.
with Matt Booth and Robert Caldwell in the same room.
Well, boy.
They're all three of them in the same room.
And you
Like,
thought
dude,
I had a
wasn't
problem
even-
with
yeah.
piss clams?
I'm like, I wasn't even there for backup.
I was scarred for life.
Yep. As is everyone who watches it.
Yeah.
Yes, they will be. Yep. Apologies to everyone in advance with that.
Wow.
That was a lot of fun. So here's what I don't get about Uncle Lee. And Stogie saying, you may be able to relate this. They're wrapped cigar. The cigars are wrapped in tissue paper and then paper around it. You don't see the cigar.
Well, you know why? Do you know why, Will? He
Why?
said this in the because
Trying to remember.
because Uncle Lee. That's why.
But he did
That's
that.
all. That's all Matt said when I asked him questions. He's like, "It's Uncle Lee, dude." I'm like,
but
"Oh,
he did
okay."
that with the Osaks too, and the
answer.
Namath Viejo. I don't get it, right? I just don't think.
You're not supposed to get it, Will.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to read too much into it.
How was the cigar, though? Tell us about the cigar.
I'll tell you what. So they got these in my local shop, and it's a limited run. It's a perfecto called the Ranfler. And I'll tell you what, it's in a thin box of 10, and when you open up the box, there's an unbelievable cedar smell to that box. It's really, really nice. And despite the cigars being wrapped, that cedar, you get the cedar right off the wrapper on there as well. That being said, the cigar was actually very, very good. It had the cedar flavors to it. It had a little bit of a chocolate note. It had a nice tobacco taste to it. I mean, I could see why Matt talked about this reminding him of his uncle who got him into cigars, because it really had a classic tobacco taste to it. It had a nice sweetness to it as well. It was also a fuller cigar in terms of strength and body. This is probably one of the stronger cigars I've had from Room 101 in terms of strength, and it definitely was a full-bodied cigar. So I was also a little surprised with that. The only negative was that Perfecto just did not burn great. It was a little more high maintenance than I prefer. But I probably would have went fiver, but it's a box of 10 at $9.99. I think I'd still go box split. The cigar actually was very, very enjoyable flavor-wise to smoke. But again, the burn, and I've had a number of these now, so the burn was just high maintenance.
I'm glad Stogie Sand is here for a lot of reasons. One of which is I want to talk about a cigar that you turned me on to, and gave me these after they had a whole bunch of age on them, and you were like, "Dude, you have to smoke this. You have to smoke this. It's awesome." And then I smoked it. I'm like, "Holy shit, it's awesome!" Like, where do I get more? You're like, "Yeah, no, he hasn't made them in a long time." Then they came back, and I bought a box, and I've been letting them age. And recently, I went back and smoked like my newer box after it had a couple of years of age, and this is the Tatuaje RC 184. It's one of those cigars, dude. It flies under the radar.
Oh, it's
no one's really. Everyone's talking about the latest and greatest store release from Tatuaje. You don't. Like, these 184s are awesome, and this one's got a couple of years of age. And, I mean, they're nothing but box-worthy. And I tell you what.
they're bordering on Oasis. Bordering on Oasis.
They are. They are.
They're not Oasis, but they're bordering.
I worked so hard on my clam broth that I had to take a day off afterwards, so that's when I smoked this cigar.
I don't think it was a clam broth. I think it was in between.
It was drinking all that booze while I was making my clam broth. So I was on my pool deck, and I'm like, I'm going to be out here outside for a while. Got to have on 184. It's a perfect, like you said, summertime cigar. It's not too strong. Progresses in flavors, that big Salamone size. It's one of the best smoking Salamones out there.
Out there.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, on one hand, you could count like those Salamones.
I got three in mind, and that's it.
I did Debonair RC 184 and maybe Puro Vintage 2003.
Oh, you forgot one, Paul Gamarian.
And Paul Gamarian. Okay, so 4. Yeah.
Yep.
The 2003 I like on the vintage.
It does have a Cuban. No, the RC is retro Cuban.
Retro Cuban, right?
It does have kind of a little bit of a Cuban feel to it. Some of the flavor profiles I think overlap, and Pete did a great job blending this one. So, have you had this cigar, Will?
Not in a while.
I got an age one. I'll send it down to you.
Yeah, you got to smoke this, dude.
Yeah,
I don't age a lot. I don't like to go too far on cigars because sometimes they can lose what they have.
Yeah,
but.
I wish Pete would get back to. I mean, I know I like some of the shop exclusive. I think he's gone too much with these shop exclusives.
Yeah, the whole thing is we say that. I guess he's going to look at his wallet too. You know what I mean? He's making what he's making money, and sometimes
he's got to do something different though.
Yeah, I agree.
You got to keep yourself occupied, right?
Well, I'm not going to tell Pete Johnson what to do.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who are we? But
I just think these core lines get lost. Yeah. I don't know if he just seems like every time he comes out, and they're great cigars. It just seems like they get lost with these shop exclusives coming out.
And go ahead, next one.
Back to you, Will.
It's hard.
All right. So following Pete up with this one, I'm actually going to Viaje. So I smoked the
wow.
Viajes.
Why don't you go into another one, then VI?
Yeah.
That would be a smart thing to do.
Did I do that?
Is it inside baseball?
Yeah,
Inside,
yeah.
inside baseball.
Yeah. A little MLB.
all right.
That's right.
All right, we'll do it anyway. What
All
the
right,
heck?
go ahead, go ahead.
So Viaje Summerfest, the 2015 version of it that came out for about June timeframe. Nicaraguan Puro with a Corojo 99 wrapper. Couple of changes, and Andre was actually on the show, and he kind of world debuted this cigar on the show, where the Summerfest had that brushed foot, that very rough cut brushed foot. He changed it up this time, and I think it was a smart move. He made it less rough, is the best way to put it. It's more, I'd say now, unfinished. It doesn't have that rough shag on it anymore. And the other thing that's different about this cigar is he moved production to Topsa in Nicaragua from Races Cubanas. And I think both of those things really helped this cigar, because the problem I always had with those Summerfests with those brush foots is they just didn't start out. The burn just started out very high maintenance. This burned a lot better. Nice cigar. And I've always liked the Summerfest. This was really good. Had a woody cinnamon taste, nice sweetness to it. Overall, it's definitely a medium to full in strains, full bodied. I think if you like the Summerfest, you're going to be very happy with this size, which is, I didn't mention that, the 6x52 Toro. Price point is about $9.50. I have it between a fiver and a box split. Reason why is I think they come in boxes of 30, so you
Wow.
may want to put a fiver on that. But
Coop, what size was it? I lost. What size did you say it was?
6x52 Toro.
Okay.
Yeah, so you went with a pretty standard cigar, but like I said, I like the concept of an unfinished foot, but that brush was such a rough cut that it was a pain in the ass to light those things.
We don't have we don't have the wrapper on it. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to smoke that brush foot on those torpedoes that
No,
he
it's
released.
just-
When I talked to Andre, he's like, you can clip it. He's like, you can light it, and it's
But
for those that want that experience, Will,
Right.
of
But-
taste, of having that brush foot and having it lit. It produces a lot of smoke too. It's all over the place. But a lot of the ones I smoked subsequently,
90% of the
clipped
people
that.
have no idea what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no,
don't waste
I
your time
clipped.
doing that.
I left a little tiny bit of it, but I did clip most of it off of there, Will. But this one sounds like he just removed the wrapper from the I don't know, about an inch on the foot of the cigar.
So what's your
Yeah,
next? Okay.
Yeah, and you get one more comment. You get that transition a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
the cigar. Yeah.
What was the original Viaje Summerfest that you gave me?
Oh,
Stogie,
that
was
was
it a
the first.
It was a Robusto. His first release.
That was a mistake.
Oh, that thing was.
That didn't have the unfinished foot.
Yeah, that was
And
the
it
best
it
mistake you ever did.
Oh, it's
I-
epic.
Yep,
So,
I agree. I agree. But yeah.
I smoked a custom roll cigar, and I would say that one of the top maybe 5, maybe 3 questions I get when I tell people I like cigars, I do a cigar show, they say, well, I was at this event, whatever the case may be, and there was a guy there or a girl there rolling cigars, custom roll cigars. There was a guy there at the table, we're at a computer security trade show. Oh, that booth over there has a guy sitting there rolling cigars.
His name's Jose.
Yeah, and there's, I went to this wedding and they had a person there rolling cigars. My concern is the quality of tobacco that these rollers are getting. Now, I don't want to put a stereotype out there, but kind of my feeling in smoking a lot of these cigars that they're not getting the highest quality tobacco. So I'm always really skeptical of a custom roll. And prove me wrong. I don't know how a lot of these people that provide these services to various functions where they get their tobacco, it probably differs from event to event in a lot of cases. This custom roll was actually pretty good. It actually wasn't. Now, again,
Excuse me.
I think my expectations were set pretty low.
Right.
But it seemed to me like it had a Connecticut wrapper. I don't know anything about the tobacco that's in it, but it looked to me like it was Connecticut wrapper. Kind of smoked a little bit like a Connecticut wrapper. Had a little bit of creamy, a little bit of sweetness to it. It also had this little bit other flavor that was kind of off, like an astringent, almost little bitterness that was in the background. So it wasn't the most well-balanced cigar. But that creamy sweetness was really nice. So I would rate it a 5. For a custom roll, I thought this was really good. So my question to the panel, all the other people here tonight, is what do you guys think of custom rolls, and where do you think they get their tobacco from, and what's their ability to get quality tobacco?
There's not a lot of custom rolling going around,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
a reason for it.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
what because they're not very good? Is
Well,
that the
that's-
tobacco they're getting? I mean, the construction was good. They rolled it okay.
Hey, not only that, you got to realize a custom roll and how old that tobacco is. I mean, you're smoking it that day; it's not bad, and then you go following
That's the
that
thing
up
that I have
a
the
couple
issue
of
with the
days
custom
later.
roll
Yeah.
is when they're rolling it. That's not when you a
supposed
good
to let it
custom
sit.
roller will have a humidor with them of ones that they
Correct.
rolled
Right.
6 months ago.
Right.
Mike will tell you, a cigar goes on a funky stage.
It does.
You know what I mean? You smoke
Sick
something.
period.
Oh yeah, you'll get something 2-3 weeks, and
Yeah.
this is this the same? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So in a lot, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're doing a blend, when you go through a blending process, you get your samples and you get enough of them, and you smoke one week. You
Yeah.
wait a few days, you smoke another one.
Yeah.
You can, another week, you smoke another one. You see how it progresses because you have to, and you know when you get it, it's young, and you're gonna have to get through the ammonia and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That happens. It's just a test blend, but you want to see how it progresses and how it ages. My take on the custom rolls are, a lot of times you just have to let them sit because
Right.
they don't show up with the humidor of 6-month-old rolled cigars. And people get these custom rolled cigars with the tobacco, you can feel the moisture.
Yes.
And you light it, and they don't stay lit,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really not meant to be smoked right
No.
away. But the greatest custom roll story I have is right before I got involved with Tion Cigar Group at an event in New England. Pepin Garcia was there, and he had his tobacco sent up and was custom rolling cigars himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that was phenomenal.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but I let him sit. He did have some pre-roll, but he was rolling them there for you as well.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
my
cool.
thing for people is like if you
Yeah.
get one they roll right there, like dude, you could let that sit 3 months, 6 months before
Yeah,
you smoke it.
at least. I mean,
at least, right?
Has anyone here actually tried to roll a cigar?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have
You've
done
not
it.
yet. I have not
Will,
yet.
you've done it?
Yeah, it's humbling.
It's
No.
humbling. That's a nice way to say
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It is not easy.
It makes you realize what a
Appreciate.
special technique that is.
I was in the De Los Reyes factory, and they had us rolling a cigar. It was a contest they had, and all the roller kept saying to me was, no, 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 no. Finally, she took the darn cigar and finished it and said, that's it. Get away.
That's pretty much what happened to me.
Yeah,
I remember
mean,
Willie Herrera was in your shop and he was rolling cigars for us. I gotta go
Yeah,
back
it was
and
all
smoke
aged
that.
tobacco, but still, you got to you got to spray a little bit, and you still put
yeah.
moisture. Moisture plays a lot of
you
tricks.
do. Right.
Sure it
right.
does.
Even the ones where they just spray them a little bit.
That's what I was get back to moisture. Make it real quick so I don't lose what we're doing. The smokes of the weeks. New Orleans, you go outside. If you
humidity
took Mike's
level.
cigar out and
like
you
a
take this
sponge.
cigar, I'm
Yeah.
telling you take this cigar and take it outside and smoke it, and you'll say, and you're smoking now, right now, you wouldn't believe it's the same cigar.
That level of humidity is unlike anything any human
Yep.
being should ever have to experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It
I was
truly
there
is.
in the spring and it was on borderline unbearable humidity. I can't
In July,
imagine
it
going in
was
there in July.
Insane.
Yep, that's why. Yep. It's,
You know,
Will, back to you. Sorry, we're like way
SB.
off.
no, I wanted to make a comment. Yeah, Mark, did you like New Orleans?
Be honest, Mark, because I'm going to be honest in a second.
Oh, the whole thing is, I hope I never go back there again. You know what I mean?
That's a no.
That would be a no, Will.
I think
I have the most-
we were both in a grouchy mood the first day, and
yeah.
I think we're saying,
That's
like,
why-
what fucking place to smoke. I think we're going.
I'll tell you what. You know what? I could put it this way. This is why. What took so long to win the Civil War? That's what I gotta say. What the fuck? You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say.
Oh, boy.
Wow. That's all I keep saying. Like on the way home, we took that long. Holy shit! I don't get it. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of great comments on that one.
I
But
would tell you this: the greatest part about New Orleans again are the crawfish and the oysters.
That's it. And
those
flying
are
back
great,
home.
but not great enough for me to go back and get them there.
Yeah. I hope that. I mean, the whole thing is, it's just I felt bad for all the cigar manufacturers down there. It just no one got a fair shake. That's all I'll say about that.
Well, I mean, where else do you walk down a street that reeks of urine and vomit? I mean, that's one of the
Hey,
main
not only
attractions.
that, but you couldn't even smoke within 100 feet of the buildings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was just I was just really that's
There was basically 2 cigar bars that you could go to,
And one we
had
didn't
no,
wanna go
One
in.
had no ventilation. I mean,
Right.
none.
Oof. That's
it
rough.
was. I'm telling you, I was smoking cigars without smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But other than that, we loved it. Will.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Great, Will. It's great.
glad-
Talk
glad
about
we're
your
going back.
cigar now, Will.
Yeah,
Glad we're going back to Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
Um,
Amen.
A cigar though that actually launched at the show that I got to smoke a pre-release of that turned out to be pretty good. Florida Silver, which I think we've talked about on the show a lot. They're a Honduran company that's been big in Europe. That's kind of making a push here right now, and I smoked their 20th anniversary limited Lancero. Now they're around 20 years because they've been in Europe for a long time, and they released a limited edition Lancero, a classic 7x38 cigar. The one thing that's different about this cigar is if you've seen the Florida Silver line, they have an Ecuadorian Connecticut, which I think is a really good Ecuadorian Connecticut. And they have
it's awesome. Their cigars are really awesome.
they really are good cigars. Great Honduran cigars that are coming out of that company, I should say. This uses a Habano wrapper. What I liked about this is I've been told it's a different blend, but it has a lot of that sweetness that the Connecticut line has, and I call it like almost like a
You
marshmallow.
got a sweetness from a Honduran?
That's what was amazing.
I get
Dude,
hot.
have you smoked a Florida Silver
And you haven't
before?
smoked the Connecticut either.
Yeah,
which
you
you'll get
got
up
you,
the
you
Connecticut.
got you have to
No,
try
no,
it. I'm telling you. It's-
I'm not knocking Honduran
No,
tobacco.
I know,
With
it's-
small
That's
ratios. I like on small ratios. I'm just not a. I'm not knocking. Please
No,
don't
I know,
misunderstand me. I'm not
it's-
knocking Honduran tobacco. It's not one I like on small ratios.
it's amazing to say that it's Honduran is really shocking actually because it doesn't smoke like the Hondurans that you would normally smoke.
Excuse me.
Go ahead,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'll say is if you haven't smoked a Honduran, we talked about Christian's Aroa being probably the most unique Honduran, and I'm not trying to put that line of cigars in the same class, but this is probably the next most unique line of Hondurans I've had.
That's a big say.
The big say, and they're, like I said, they're pretty impressive. The Lancero uses a Habano wrapper, which they haven't used before, and I still think it's pretty good. And it had some
I love
additional
Habano.
flavor. Yeah, there's a nice little coffee flavor and a nice little spice you get off this cigar. I didn't rate it because it was an unbanded pre-release, but I'll tell you what, it's got all the makings of a box split here. It was a very nice cigar. A
Interesting.
lot of complexity, a lot of change-ups with this cigar too.
Well, Coop, a question I don't want to cut in too much.
No, go ahead.
If you had maybe, it doesn't have to be the top cigar. I don't want to use that because I think this year was kind of a decent year. Did anything stick out for you at the show?
I'm going to go, yeah, there's been a few. I think there's right now 2. And one of them you're going to think I'm smoking crack when I say it. The first one I think is the Matilde Oscuro, which I really liked from Sejas. Now the other one you're going to just say, you're going to have me sitting down when I tell you. The Dunhill Selection Suprema.
No, you told me about that on the phone. I was really, wow.
A guy from Chicago told me to smoke that cigar. I said, no, and I'm not knocking Dunhill. They just haven't
I know
been
what
in
you're saying.
my wheelhouse.
Right.
I'm telling you, that cigar, and I haven't smoked like Phil's cigars yet, by the way. Just so you know, it's like, I'm not trying to Phil knows I haven't smoked this cigar yet. So, but but this cigar just blew me away. I'm not saying it's as strong a year as we've seen in previous years. I think it was a weaker year. But I'm strictly going by cigars I had that made the debut at the show. There's some cigars that have been out that I had at the show that came out before the show that I had for the first time too.
Interesting. Okay. Paul?
You and I, we both reviewed the same cigar this week, and that is the Robert Caldwell, The Last Czar.
Oh.
Well,
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
I missed that so much. I love that.
I got to get a drink.
You had a very similar rating to what I had, though.
I think we both rated it a 5, Will.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're so excited and surprised at that rate. I think the cigar has potential. I think it has some aging potential. When I smoked it, I can't say that it was a little unbalanced. I felt that the cigar needed a little time to age. I felt that about a lot of cigars that I smoked at the show, from the show rather. And yeah, I'll have a little more. Yeah, bring the bottle. Just bring the bottle over here, will you?
You want another cigar?
Yes, I do.
I'm gonna get up and get a cigar.
Will, what were your again? Stogie saying his sentiment about cigar doesn't know what it wants to do with itself. I got a little bit of that in the cigar, but I didn't feel like it was a bad cigar by any stretch. I thought it had a ton of potential in it, and thank you, and it smoked really well. So, what did you get like flavor wise?
It was. I'm going to say this was, and I wrote this when I reviewed it. It was not a cigar that I felt.
Guys, Mike, this being
There's a lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery going on tonight, Will,
Yeah.
here in the studio.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Coop.
Sorry, but continue though, Will.
No, so and I felt when I first had it, it was all strange, and there was nothing going on with that cigar. I really did, but that cigar, I think it developed a nice sweetness to it, which it's still a lot of strengths, but I think it did settle down a bit, where I liked some of the flavors. It just wasn't a cigar that wowed me for that price point, is really what it came down to.
What's the
Fine
price
cigar.
for it? What's the price for it?
$19.
$19.
Was it really? For that thing?
Yeah, that's where I had the.
No, Coop, I agree with you a lot with the price, what you're saying. I really do. I think the potential is going to be limited. I really do.
I don't think it's going to get much. I don't think it's
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
You know, for Robert, I'm surprised that he would release that the way he released it because, to be honest with you, if it's Mike's cigar or anybody else, it's not my job to age it. That's number one. You know, to be honest with you, I'm not trying.
No,
I'm not
I agree.
all that's you know. And what happened? I didn't smoke the cigar. I put them on the counter and I had to take them off the. Well, anyway, it just didn't go over well, and so we put them in the back.
Price point seems like it is a huge factor for that.
It really is. At $19, there's a lot of ways I can go.
Yep.
But I think he's got some good other stuff that it's not just say every Caldwell's bad. That's a ridiculous statement to make. But in this particular one, I didn't get it. I just really didn't.
He's using that Carbonell tobacco, which we've talked about with Luis Falto, and it's also used, Paul, in that La Barber Purple. And it is an interesting tobacco that does some different things. But I look at that La Barber Purple and that Falto 20th. I don't think the Caldwell's in the same league as those two cigars.
Even the Faltos.
But that Falto 20th, I think, is the best Falto.
Have you smoked the Falto 20th?
I don't know. After what I've smoked, I don't know if I want to smoke any more Faltos.
It uses the same. Well, it's a bad example. It uses the same tobacco as this call, but that Falto 20th.
I think you'd like that one.
You would like that one. Really? It's worlds above.
You know what happens?
You gotta
let it fly. Just let it
fly.
No,
because it doesn't. I just not let it fly.
I can't let it fly, but you can.
I just don't want it. It doesn't do any good to slam. I don't want to do that. I just that to put a cigar out. I don't care if it's got a hoop, a barrel, a fucking tush or something. Excuse the French, but just put this. Yeah, right. Just put it out. You know what I mean? And
he's got the Churchill now coming out with that, and I hope it comes out. That's what I'm hoping. It's a little different this time around when it hits the store. Because I agree with you on that. It wasn't ready when that cigar came out.
No, it really hurt it. It really does. What's the old cliche? You go first time to make one impression, and this one really didn't do well.
See, and I'm going to be a little. Here's what I'm going to say, and like I said, it's not a bad cigar. Robert Caldwell's hot right now. All right, and he's red hot, and that's why I thought some of his cigars were going to be flying at the show. He's got a lot of people right now, and I hate this. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. That probably are just fans.
No, not fans. I'll even define it. His average is 20 to 25-year-old. That's where he's. You know what I mean? The 20, 25-year-old group. That's a dangerous place to play.
It is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The attention span in that market is really short.
Right.
That's what I'm
because they're going to move on to whoever gets hot next real soon.
So it's a dangerous.
Because I think Pete played in that market for a while, and he had to work really hard to get to where he is now. And that's a lot of the small boutiques are falling into that.
See, I hate that word boutique. I just
because
people know.
We could do a whole segment about the word boutique.
Let's just stick with the fact.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like that word boutique.
Yeah.
Will, go ahead. Do one of yours.
All right. I smoked another. I'm kind of almost done with the Abo Greatest Hits.
Oh, okay. This is
And
gonna be good.
I went back and smoked the 75th anniversary one, which was the 2001 release, which was included in that sampler. I don't think that's the original
It's not.
cigar. It's
No.
not.
It's the same, like
Why do you
farms.
say? Do you
So
think go ahead.
it's not tobacco from 2001.
Oh.
They regrew the tobacco, did the same primings, did the same, aged it as if they were rolling it in 2001. But it's a new cigar with the same tobacco. We had, don't tell me, Scott Colasaire, who's the brand manager for Avo. That was one of the big questions we had for him was, how did you come up with all these cigars? And he's like, no, we regrew the crops. We did the same primings. We aged the tobacco for however long they were aged when we made them in 2001, and then we made a new cigar.
Okay. That being said, we'll put the other one away. What about the one that was in the box? What do you think, Coop?
The one that was in the box.
Well, the
Yeah, so this-
the sampler. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the newly
So
blended one in the
what I
sampler.
think.
Right.
So that cigar became, for all practical purposes, the Avo signature line.
Which is not that bad.
It's not that bad, but whatever they did, and this is kind of what I was writing up with this cigar, whatever they did with this cigar in terms of the technique, it did seem to smoke different than an Avo, because I did smoke an Avo signature alongside of this, and it did seem to smoke, I mean, I liked it a lot, this cigar. I had never had the original, though, so I can't judge how good it was from the original, but it was very good. It had a lot more complexity than I would say a normal Avo would. I enjoyed it a lot. It was actually I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. I do like the signature line a lot, but this one I enjoyed a lot. I have it as, if this was a cigar on its own, I'd put it as a box worthy. I'd love, and this 7x50. And I'm an Avo guy. You know, I like a lot of Avo stuff. So
I mean, as everyone knows,
He
I
got
am
me.
too.
He got me. Remember the boxes I sent down you, the Avo 2010. Coop said you got to try it. Awesome. That's not your typical Avo. I'm telling you.
that is
the most
and
full
that's-
body Avo you
It
ever
is.
smoke. It is
The 09
excellent.
is pretty full body too.
No,
But the
that 2000, the 10 is special.
And here's the thing: that 10 that they put in the sampler, it was the exact. I mean, it didn't lose a touch. It didn't lose
Nothing.
anything in that sampler. So I think whatever they did with that, fantastic cigar.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like they said, like we didn't reblend them, but we basically regrew the crops of those original ones. And you smoked a lot of them. Go back to that sample set, Stogie Santa, and go smoke the ones that you remember smoking fresh. I tell you, you make the connections. You're like, that's the same.
What was
friggin'
the
cigar.
one they did, Coop? Was that 787 or 7?
The 787.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
They discontinued that one a few years
Why?
ago.
I don't know why they ever
It
did
was
that.
one of the best. We didn't ask Scott that question, Paul, about the
Did you like
787.
that? Did you like that cigar?
Love that cigar.
Yeah. I don't know.
I love that cigar. I'm not sure what they based. I think that might have been based off one of the limiteds too, but don't quote me on that.
And okay, one more thing about Avo. I went crazy for it. And you talk about cigar transition time. Was it 2005? What was the unbanned? They had no band. Was it 2005? The Limitada.
There was a 5 and a 7 had no band, but the
2005 was the best thing they ever did.
Is that the
Yeah.
one that they didn't
Oh,
put in
I
the
got-
sampler pack, Will?
They didn't put it in.
They didn't have the tobacco.
They didn't have the tobacco.
Scott said we went to Avo, and he's like, we
Yo-
don't have the tobacco.
I
And
went
he's like,
to
no, we
Johan.
can't do. He's like, we can't do it. He's like, we just don't have the tobacco. And he's like, we're not going to
best
put it in
thing
there because we
I
don't
was-
have it.
Right.
That's one of my top 10 cigars I
Yeah.
ever smoked.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people
Yeah.
say that. To speak to the Avo, Brett, on my drive to work, I probably smoke at least 50 to 60% of the time I've got an Avo, whether it's an Avo Classic.
The XOs.
Avo XO or Avo Classic is my morning smoke. It really is.
And I think the Signature is kind of an underrated cigar.
It is.
It is.
I
It's
smoked those too.
discontinued.
In fact, I smoked a box I
Yeah.
bought from you that had some age
Yeah,
on
oh.
it. I've been smoking through that box.
All right, what's our next
Anyway.
one?
I smoked the AJ Fernandez Enclave. This is a new offering from
Yeah, I
AJ
had that at
Fernandez.
the show.
Amped up in body and strength for an AJ Fernandez. When you compare it to the San Latanos, for the most part, really aren't in my kind of wheelhouse.
I think it would have been in the original ones they would have been.
Yeah.
I think they've changed so much
You
when
think
they
so?
mass produced them. Yeah, something happened.
They just
That's just me. I
There's
don't
a
know
lot
what
of
I'm
fans
talking
in the
about.
San Latano. I much prefer the New World. I like the New World. I think it's a great medium-bodied smoke. I love the New World Connecticut in that Corona Gorda. Oh, is that cigar awesome? That's slowly taken over a lot of my morning smoking time. And the Enclave is kind of like his new offering in recent time to kind of complement, I think, what he's put out. And I believe, now correct me if I'm wrong, Will, I think this one's kind of like a more fuller body.
Oh, this is a more
fuller
full, yeah.
strength.
That's the one that.
And he hit the mark with that. I would say it's a solid fiver. I think the flavor profile is, I prefer the New Wave and the New World as far as my palate goes. But this is a solid offering from AJ. I rated it a fiver for me.
That's I could see that.
Yeah, in the Robusto format. Well, I don't know what your ratings were in this cigar, but I thought for a stronger cigar, he did a really nice job of not making it too over the top in strength, but amping it up in comparison to his other blends.
That's what I thought about the Enclave in terms of, he has these 3 value price cigars.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Bingo.
so he's got the milder Connecticut. He's got a medium in the New World. And this one I'd say is on the upper end of medium plus to full. I mean, so he's got like 3 offerings. I like this cigar a lot. I smoked through quite a bit of these. I actually like this one a lot.
Which size was your favorite so far, Will?
I'm going back and forth. I think the Toro right now is my favorite.
Yep. I got to go back to. I only smoked the Robusto size.
I had all sizes at the show.
And I smoked the Robusto, and I thought it was good, and it kind of made me want to try the other sizes too to find the right size in my wheelhouse. Because I tell you what, the New World Connecticut, there's a lot of differences between the sizes.
That's what I found when they did the bowl, the pricing, they dropped that on that, and that's kind of a kiss of death of certain scenarios.
But that bull and the torpedo is pretty awesome.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best thing they can do. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's new packaging coming out for the bowl, and it really looks slick, actually.
Yeah.
Back to you, Will.
Got one more, and this was another surprise cigar that I got out of the show that was really good, and it was Recluse's Habano.
I saw you. Did you do a review on that?
Yeah.
Coupe? Yeah.
I just did that this week.
Yeah, I read that.
I smoked through quite a few of them. This, I think, is the best cigar they've come out with. It's a medium cigar, very nutty flavor to it. I've smoked it in the Toro and the Gordo or the Tarantula they call it. It's a really good cigar. It's a great medium. It's got a real clean finish on this cigar. So when you're done smoking this cigar, you could smoke something else, and you have no aftertaste on that cigar. Like I said, I was really pleasantly surprised on that one. They're using a Habano wrapper on that cigar. They're also utilizing some Pennsylvania broadleaf in the filler, and they were telling me that this is they're kind of doing a little bit, I guess, of what Skip did with that Pennsylvania. They're trying to amp up the blend, but it was probably a very mild blend, so I guess they had to do that. But I tell you what, it was a very, very nice cigar. It just kind of pops. They have a holographic almost band on it, but it's not cheesy, which is what I liked about it. It's definitely a cigar that I would say definitely a box-worthy cigar. This was another kind of under-the-radar cigar that got released at the show. I was really pleased with that cigar. Also has
Go ahead. I think one of the most under-the-radar cigars in the show was KC's, the new Racine.
I haven't smoked the new Racine. I smoked one of the original Racines, and I was like,
the 13 or the 14?
The
torpedo or
it was not a torpedo.
Okay,
Toro.
that was the Toro. It's a 13.
The 13 is smoking awesome now.
Awesome. I'm telling you what, this is one of my favorites of the show. That and
I always liked the 2013 Racine when I smoked when it first came out.
Nice little job he did with that.
So, I'll start there then. I smoked the new La Mission.
What size you go with?
L'Atelier. I went with the Robusto. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good cigar. I mean, it was pretty well balanced. Mm-hmm. It had some good flavor. I would rate it a 5. I think when I smoke more, I want to smoke some different sizes, but I thought he did a good job with that.
Decent job with that, yeah.
Again, I like, I don't know, the Racine may be one of my favorite cigars from him. And I smoked all the other ones that you guys have carried. The Racine just sticks out for me. I went back in time because I was on Facebook and I saw John Carney posted about
the double Corona.
Yeah, Coronado.
The Coronado. I got the
because I think Cigar Aficionado
97.
Cigar Aficionado reviewed a Coronado from 1996, which had to be the year the Flor Dominicana started. So it had to be one of their first production, one of their first production runs. And I was like, oh, I've got some of those old ones kicking around in my humidor. So I smoked the double Corona. It's really good. I mean, when I say it went down in strength, I mean, it's unbelievable how the cigar aged. It smokes like a regular medium-bodied cigar now.
Which is amazing for
Amazing for a little Flor, right? And it just has this awesome sweetness. Nicotine just disappeared. It was a great smoke.
What LaFleur does with Dominican cigars is amazing. How they get that kind of strength and power throughout their line, oftentimes,
For Dominican,
is amazing.
And you let
it's
them,
Opus X like.
It's amazing.
But you let them age, and they're all about flavor.
I'll tell you,
Unbelievable sweetness and flavor.
The LGs,
The Lito Gomez signature line?
The LG Chisel.
Chisel.
Forget it.
No, that reminds me of Opus X on steroids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
They're
got that
really
con- yeah,
strong.
they got a
You
con-
smoke them fresh. Oh, my God. I want to vomit.
You know, I had the LaFleur chisel.
Yeah.
The first chisel I had was the LaFleur one, right? And then I saw the LG chisel, and when you look at it, you look at it and you say, okay,
yeah,
that's
it's
probably
going to be the
that's
same
gonna
or
be
light.
toned down.
Yeah, because it's a lighter wrapper. No, it's
No.
I smoked one of the LG, one of the newer ones, like probably 8 to 10 months after they came out, and I'm like, oh, they must have settled down a little bit. I turned green. I thought I was going to vomit, and it was after I ate lunch
Well,
too.
Mike was mentioning about Lanceros. His Lanceros, I guess.
Yeah.
Those.
Oh yeah, those are really good too.
Oh man.
And he takes pride in small ring gauge
Yeah.
because he loves small ring gauge cigars.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. He does it as a Lancero.
So I don't know. I kind of missed the Coronado. They don't make the Coronado
No.
anymore.
No, they brought it back.
Did they bring it back?
I got Lanceros in the store that are 4 years old.
Coronados?
The Coronado was actually relaunched at the show this year.
Oh, interesting.
And they changed the banding, so it's a little more, I'd say, the band's completely different. It's more of a classic LFD style band now. But it's the same blend, just different packaging. You know, that cigar, my feeling, that's a cigar that's better as a big cigar.
Yeah, the double Corona always rated really well.
The larger that cigar, the better it's smoked.
Now, they just talk about LFD for a little bit. One of the cigars I want to try was the Lanac.
I never tried it.
I haven't tried it yet, but
Hey, no, it's another raved cigar. I'm not raved. I just lost it. Here, CRS. Juan Consul in New Jersey. What's his name? Protocol.
Protocol's a great cigar.
Yeah.
and who is that?
Espinoza.
Okay.
Espinoza made it for a guy named Juan Cancel.
Yeah, he's in New Jersey. Yeah, I heard some. Yeah, Phil was telling me about that cigar. So give it a try.
It's a legit cigar.
Now, Will, have you smoked the Lennox?
I haven't smoked it yet, no.
Do you have some samples or?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
We need to work on that because I want to try it. I've heard some good things.
I've heard it's very good. I heard it's a dark cigar, but it's not a powerhouse, is what I've heard.
Speaking of the opposite of powerhouse, I did smoke the Drew Estate Undercrown Shade.
Drew Straight.
Drew Shade.
New cigar.
It's the new cigar. Yeah. I need a
Hold
on.
I love it. I miss it. I really do. Oh, if I can pull.
It's always when you're here that I slur my word. Like when you're not here, I don't slur anything.
Yeah, so I put right.
As soon as you
it's
come
not the
here,
alcohol. I make them drink. That's what it is.
That's what
I make them
you
nervous.
try me to drink, maybe. The Drew Estate Undercrown Shade. When I interviewed Jonathan Drew, this was one of the cigars he was telling us about. It's a really good Connecticut shade cigar. It's got, it's a little amped up for a Connecticut, but not too much. Like I said, there's this class of Connecticut cigars that really get too spicy and peppery for my palate. This one is a good strength, but it doesn't go into that spicy and peppery kind of profile. Had some great sweetness. It was that, embodied some of that traditional Connecticut kind of thing, right? A little bit of creamy, a little bit of sweetness, which is what I like in a Connecticut. It had a little bit of, I don't want to say bitterness, but a little bit of like a touch of unbalance.
Harshness.
Yeah, that I think age will probably take care of, but I did sense a touch of that, and it kind of reflected
the thing
in
is,
my
when I think
rating.
of age, I think of Connecticut, I think of, problems.
It could be problems, but a lot of the, in the defense of Connecticut's coming out in the market now, I think a lot of them do age much better than before because they're amping up the strength a little bit and the flavor.
And that's what
so
you
they'll
got to be careful
age a little
with.
bit.
You know what
but
I mean?
you do have to be careful because you got a short window, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like when I say short window, I mean you got like a year, and then after that you got to be careful because they could age right out.
Oh, Connecticut.
No,
you're
but this was
talking
good. I
6
rated
months.
it a 5. I thought they did a good job.
That's
with their
that's
Connecticut.
that's a good rating.
I liked it better than some other Connecticut's that I've smoked recently. We'll leave it at that. I reviewed that one on the last
the
show,
whole thing is when it comes to Connecticut, on a real quick note, it's you think of Connecticut, you always think of that mild smoker, and
Yeah.
then when you think of spice element in the Connecticut, you got to be careful. You know what I mean? What you're appealing to.
Now I reviewed the Romacraft Connecticut.
Oh, that's.
But to me, it doesn't smoke like a. I mean, it's an awesome
See,
cigar, but it doesn't smoke like a,
that's
a
what I'm
Connecticut.
talking about.
You know what I
That's,
mean?
You know,
yeah.
I think that's. I think it's one of my favorite Connecticut's on the market.
It's so different than
Mm-hmm.
your traditional mold for a Connecticut. I guess
That's not for the true Connecticut smoker.
No, and I'm a true Connecticut smoker. Like in the morning, I love nice creamy sweetness in the morning
Mm-hmm.
with the Connecticut and a cup of coffee. It really it hits the mark. And
Like
recently,
a
that
Silk is really good for that. Or
Silk is really good. The New World Connecticut is one
The
that
Corona
and
Gorda
that
is
Corona
really-
Gorda really hit the mark on that. I think EPC with its the new limited edition, newer limited edition Connecticut, and the Toro size really hit the mark for me on that as well. And a lot of his short run Connecticut's have been awesome. Or was it a short run Connecticcut?
no,
What was his short run release that was a new wave short run?
no,
2012.
No,
Was the short run?
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, the new one this year is just totally different wrapper. Totally
Yes,
is
yeah.
on that.
I like that one too. And then I reach for Avo in the morning. We need to do a whole segment on like morning cigars. I had the luxury of like my way in. I can have a cigar and smoke I just in the morning it's just the best time to smoke a cigar. So
I do enjoy a morning cigar.
Yeah.
And an afternoon
No, it
cigar.
happened.
and a
evening
nice night cigar.
whatever.
Yeah.
And when you palate,
Oh, speaking of night cigars, one that I would smoke at night that's not on my list, Will, but I recently bought a box of, and we're going to do a Stogie Geeks shorts on this line of cigars, Padron Family Reserve. I just bought I bought it from you, Mark. You were there, the 45th Maduro. And I hadn't smoked one in a while. And I was out on my deck after dinner, and my family was hanging out. Some of my family was up visiting. And I lit that cigar up, and I was like, I went into cigar coma. Like, I didn't really talk much. I was just really focused on my cigar. That cigar is so awesome. I
It's a
mean,
great
the
cigar.
coffee notes with the sweetness, especially when you get in the middle of that cigar, they're just mesmerized. You're mesmerized by the flavors
great smoke.
in that cigar. Really, really great smoke. Expensive, but I tell you what, you got to have some on hand. You got to have
I'll
some on
say
hand.
it for the 1,000,000th time. If the cigar is $20, whoever's cigar, I'm not going to even mention names, it's irrelevant. Where can you go for an hour of time? Just say that it takes you an hour to smoke.
No,
where can you get $20 enjoyment for for $20?
But that
hooker,
smoke lasts you 2 hours. That's a 2 hour
Yeah,
smoke.
and look at the
That's
size
a
of it.
slow. It's not a huge cigar, but it's a 2 hour journey. So it's a worthwhile investment in my opinion. Will, we didn't do a contest.
Who takes Mike home tonight?
Oh, God. Can I choose?
You're gonna drive to Newport, right?
No, I'm going back to Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. You're still
No, you should do is what he said about the name of this cigar on the show. What
That's what I
that
was-
means.
What that means.
You want to give away some of your cigars?
Sure.
What that?
That's
What,
we
that's
just
really
get drunk
nice.
in the
Yeah.
studio.
Give us some more smoke. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't know. I really didn't know.
We'll give you a smoke naked T-shirt for your troubles.
Let me give you my answer. Can't really say no to that.
I didn't know it was going to come back to Mike. My bad. Let's put it this way.
no,
All kidding
you-
aside, it'd be worth knowing what the answer
But
is.
Mike,
Let's put it
it's a
that way.
testament to your cigar. Because if
I'm
your
happy
cigar,
to give the
if
cigar
your
away.
cigar sucked, they'd be like, "I'm not giving this away to our listeners," right? So it's a testament to your cigar.
Oh,
I
How's that for
appreciate
stroking your
That's
ego?
good. That's a good save, I got to tell you. No, I'd be happy to give the cigar
I'm smoking
away.
my second one, so
Me
it's
too.
a good
Hey,
cigar.
it's- isn't it?
Yeah,
Very-
for both
well,
of us
hey.
smoking a second cigar, that's a huge
Thank you.
Coop,
testament.
did you try
so.
this size yet?
Yeah, he has not seen that size.
Too bad. You always smoke on your side.
Wow. Coop, I'm going to send you some. Don't worry.
I know.
Thank you.
Share
thank
the
you.
love.
Yeah.
You'll be happy.
And
You'll
And
be
we're
happy.
going to send one to a random listener, or however. What do you want to send them?
I'm going to send him a half. I'm going to cut it in half. I'll send half to each listener.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
have 2 winners.
Oh man.
I'll send. I don't. These
Like
are
a how about a $5?
$5's good.
Okay, of whatever size you
I'll
pick.
send him this one. How's that?
Wow.
A $5, the double.
And this thing, that's unreleased at this moment.
Yeah.
And this is a long. These burn slow. Dude.
Yeah, this is a big cigar that burns for a while.
Yeah. So a $5 of the
It's
double
more
torpedo
than burning good for a while. It's a great
in the
cigar.
Imperia. If you can tell us where the name comes from,
Right.
Todd
And
might come up
I
with
live
the
in
name.
Rhode Island. I never knew that.
I never knew that either. Yeah,
He
No,
lives
it's
in
great.
Mass. He's telling me my state. Shows you how educated. I'll go back on the beach and smoke a cigar.
Get yelled at by the lifeguard.
I should have put my Speedo on.
Oh, God. There's a
they
size.
would have went,
I
go
wish I
deeper.
was.
Go deeper.
I wish someone caught that on camera.
The camera should have been in reaction. My wife's face. Here we go again.
Hey, get him a refill. Mark needs more.
Oh, yeah. All right. See,
All right. So for a $5,
I bring something. Not much, but a little bit.
Back to your chair.
for a $5 of the Imperia double torpedo, is that what you call it? It's
It's
No.
called the Fundador. But it's
Fundador.
really a double perfecto.
Double perfecto. Thank you. We got an answer already. Tell us where the name comes from. Email the show at stogies.com.
What's that tell you?
And Mike will send you 5 of them.
Better yet, you got to spell it.
Think of it this way. You're going to get 10 because I'm cutting them all in half.
There you go. You lost all control tonight on.
Oh, man.
Out of control tonight. I'm surprised.
New 20 pack. Okay, enough.
I'm surprised it's taken me to the end of the show to
do
completely lose control of the show. I have completely lost
I
control.
propose no more drinking
Yeah.
on this show. Mark has to leave.
All right. Are you
and
guys
we're
coming back?
drinking
Are you guys coming
Fuji water.
Yeah. Are you guys coming back next week? 'Cause we need-
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. How many do you want me to give away then?
Bring 10 cigars.
Oh boy.
I know I just cut them in half and you get 20. That's great.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, I think that concludes the show. Thanks everyone for listening. And tune in next week. Well, Mike will be giving away more cigars. So
It's my weekly thing.
thanks everyone. We'll see you next week.
Oh boy.